Some may say it's too easy or too quick to make a difference, but we say otherwise. My next guest believes in the art of the drop-off. She says there is value in dropping off a little treat, a note, or a gift on your friend's doorstep, even without the face-to-face connection. Becky Higgins is a woman we admire, and she's here to remind us of the power in the drop-off. I told her, thank you for the validation.
Yes.
And you say it's a whole category of love language, the drop-off.
Yeah,
what do you mean by that?
Well, I think most of us understand the concept of love languages, right? Like words of affirmation, my personal favorite, physical touch, acts of service, things like that are love languages. So categorically, drop-off gifts could be like gifts. But I think there's something so special about pulling up in the driveway or opening your front door or returning to your desk at work and seeing that someone left you a gift. That to me is just its own unique expression of love.
I know, I was saying I'm sad that the days went away when you would doorbell ditch Valentine's. Do you remember that? Like nobody does that anymore, but it's kind of fun to have that element of surprise.
It is.
So you say that's the biggest benefit, just like, oh, someone was thinking of me, even without that interaction.
Well, yes. I mean, think about it. So I don't know if you're like this and how many people are like this, but my favorite way to connect with people, hands down, is one-on-one, face-to-face connection. We're having meaningful conversation. But in this day and age, we're all busy, and that isn't realistic, right? Mm-hmm. And so instead of having this all or nothing mentality that I need to do that with all of my relationships all the time in all the ways, or doing nothing, I feel like the drop-off is like the happy place in the middle, because it still says, I see you, I love you, I care about you. And that's beautiful. And
you're doing what you can if you're too busy for a visit. So yeah. I understand you were recently the beneficiary of some drop-offs.
I was.
That's fun.
I'm laughing because it's kind of comical because I was so sick and I was bedridden. I just caught a silly virus, but it put me out. And the reason that a ton of people ended up finding out is because I was supposed to teach a class in my community with like 100+ women. So the next thing I knew, I was receiving all of these drop-off soup and medicine and herbal tea and flowers, and even my son and his girlfriend were in town and put together the most beautiful homemade bouquet of flowers, dropped it off to me, and I felt so loved.
I bet.
Yeah, it's just such a sweet sentiment to share that expression with people.
How do you think we can be better at the drop-off?
2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, never suppress a generous thought, right? Yeah. Camilla Kimball said that many years ago. It rings in my head all of the time because it is so true. All of us receive those promptings, those thoughts. We kind of have this feeling we should do something. Act on it. Instead of ignoring it, instead of just setting it to the side, just take action. Just do it. There's never a downside to kindness. And number 2, be prepared. That's what all this is, right? This is just
That's why you brought this table full of goodies.
This is just a sampling of the things that I keep on hand, which I go into very detail on all these things on my Instagram post today. But just having some things on hand that don't expire, like of course you could pick out flowers or bake a treat, but also if you just have some small gifts on hand, it makes it so much easier and more attainable that when you do have that thought into your mind, you can act on it because you have something ready to go.
Yeah, it's not extra effort. I mean, it's just a little extra effort, but
no,
not
I mean,
a ton.
The effort is like going there and dropping it off. But if you already have like gifting supplies or cute baking cups, or if you already have some fun containers or little frames, your favorite soap or chocolate, or these are for Valentine's Day, I'm dropping off tomorrow to some ladies that I feel like really could use a little extra love right now for a variety of reasons. Or you can grab, and I had these on hand actually. I already had these snacking containers on hand and then just filled it with Valentine's stuff for a different drop-off. So you could do it in a variety of ways.
Well, and I also see like little lip gloss down here.
Oh my goodness. And
the note cards, that's for you to...
It's both, right? Okay. I love having note cards on hand. I knew where you were going with the question, I think. I love having them on hand because I like to write notes and I have them ready to go. But I also like to gift note cards because I don't think the days are done where we do write those quick notes. And so some people would value that. So having a variety on hand allows me to, depending on the person and the circumstance, I can kind of pick and choose what feels like the right thing at the right time to then gift.
And you just have like a gifting closet almost.
Okay, so you could do a basket or a drawer or a shelf in your closet. Whatever works for you and your space is what you want to do. And so for me, it is a shelf or 2 in a little credenza.
That's
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, Becky told me she has laid this out in intimate detail.
Yes, every detail
and
of
so
everything.
where are we finding that?
It's on Instagram at Real Becky Higgins.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for
Happy
inviting me.
Valentine's Day. All right.
You too.